friends. I hope you're having a good day. And for me, any day in the shop is a good day, so that is good, and I'm glad to have you come here and visit me for a little bit. There's a video that I'm going to do now that I've kind of been reluctant to do. I've been kind of putting it off, and that is a shop tour. The shop is just always in flux and always, usually my ADD, I guess, there's 2 or 3, 4 projects going at the same time, and when I need a tool, everything that's on top of that one gets put over onto another one, and so the shop to me is never really put together the way I would like it to show it off. But I've had several people ask me what kinds of tools that I'm using, what the name brands are, and although I don't endorse any one brand or anything, I want people to be able to, if they want to know about these things, to be able to see it, and I can always refer people back to this video. So I hope you'll enjoy this. Let's go to the center of the shop, and I just want to do a slow 360 panoramic as we go around the shop showing the different stations, and then we'll go to each station and I'll show you the tools there and how I want to keep it organized, or at least how I use it, and the possibilities that are available, although I may not have used them anytime recently. So let's go over here to the middle of the shop. So I'm standing here near the table saw, which is the center of the shop for me. And we have here on the east end of the shop is the garage door, along with the little side door, and between them is a storage rack, which we might get over there later. You can see all this stuff right here in front of me, which is just things that I use, lumber, kind of some storage. There's also some carts back there that I have with tool items on them, as you can see. There's my toolboxes. Over here by the door is the joiner, and then beside that is the table saw, or not the table saw, the table router. And behind that is the oscillating drum sander, and then along this south wall is the floor sander, and then we have a dust collector, and that dust collector is these plastic tubing, and you'll notice the wire wrapped around that plastic tubing. That's to keep static electricity from forming in those tubes, and that goes into the neutral on the plug. And with those yellow little doors are that you can open up, and that way the vacuum is, depending on the tool that you're using, the vacuum will be drawing from that tool. So as I said, here's the floor sander. Then we have the bandsaw, which is a Craftsman. The floor sander is a tool shop. I think I got that at Menards, and I'll have to look a little closer to see what the orbital drum sander is. We have storage here up on the wall, and I think I had shown that here before at one point. Then we have the chop saw and the compressor, and they are over here as well on the sander. And then here in the corner, something that, or not in the corner, but this is something I'd really like to get uncluttered and use, and that is a horizontal drum sander. And it is a really nice little unit. I made a chessboard with it a long time ago and haven't used it much since. Then over here we have, in this corner, which is the west end, we have the drill press, and then there's the battery operated tools there on the west wall. We have the corner there with the wall in it with all of the tools that I have done. That's where I usually do most of the filming for the opening shots and the wrap-up shots for that, and the workbench there. Have a big old rack full of lumber here on the north wall, and then there's the large dust collector, which has the table saw attached to it, along with the radial arm saw back there by the wall, and the thickness planer that is here. And then back here in this corner we have the mortise and tenon, the mortising tool, along with the lathe, and then our grinding and the vices that we have back there in the back. So let me go to each one of these stations and I'll show you a little closer which are the tools that are there. All right, the joiner here is a Grizzly, and I've used it on several projects, and we've used it for joining boards and things, and it's really a nice heavy-duty tool. It can be hooked to the dust collector and used right here. I got to move things around a little bit to get to it, but it's always available. The oscillating drum sander there is a Craftsman. This router table says Sears and Roebuck on it, but I can't find the Craftsman name anywhere on it, so I don't know if it was Sears's generic brand or if it is actually a Craftsman. It was one that my dad bought a long time ago. So as you can tell, the floor sander, as I said, was from Menards, and I'm not sure about this dust collector, but it sure does come in handy for when we're doing projects, especially on the sander. And any of the sanders, routers, the bandsaw, and the chop saw. Both the bandsaw and the chop saw are Craftsman, and I believe the compressor may be as well. Pretty sure it is. Oh no, it is a Tool Shop brand. Here is the vertical or the horizontal drum sander. I'm not sure about this name, but from what I understand, it's a pretty good quality tool. And as I said, I've used it some, but not as much as I'd like. I am currently building a top bar beehive with my daughter. And so we're working on that. And one of these days, especially when we get bees, we'll probably do a video on that. But you can see behind the lid of the bees is a clamp rack with clamps on both sides. My dad honestly believed that you can't have too many clamps, and I'm a beneficiary of that, having all kinds of clamps, and it is quite the blessing. But it's on a wheeled cart, so that is on wheels. This cart here of toolboxes is also on a media cart with wheels, and we can move these things around if I need to. This sanding, this belt sander, the 1-inch belt sander and disc sander, is also on a media cart with wheels, along with the grinder and the sanding paper organizer. This here is a Craftsman sander. It's I think a 42 by 1, and it's hard to find. You can still find belts for it and things, but it seems to be kind of an odd size. I could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right place. But then also in this corner, along with the drill press, and you can see the drill press, I'm not sure, it says Chicago Tools, so I think it's just an off-brand. I'm not really sure. But there's also a routering station over here, and that opens up for the routers. Also have these drawers with the router tools that you need for them. And then up here is where all the router bits are kept. And you can see the router bits in there, and whatever it is that I need, whether it's 1/2-inch bits, which are over here, or the 1/4-inch bits that are there. But everything I need, if it's router related, is over here, except for what's at the router table. Then we've done a video on the organizing shelves that we put up a while back. And then we already talked about the drill press, some shelves for organizing, which aren't as organized as I'd like for them to be. This here is Jigs. I mean, just Jigs. There's a whole tub full of Jigs and a box full of Jigs. And so just different projects that we've done over the years. Whenever there was a jig we made, it ended up in there. Then here's my battery charging station. I don't know that I've done a video specifically on it, but there's all the battery operated tools with the chargers up top there. Over here are the jump starter for vehicles. My larger battery operated tools, somewhere around here close by should be there's the battery charger itself for car batteries, and then a variety of other things as well. And then up top we have all the other tools. Now from here we come over to this workbench where all the projects generally end up, and you've seen this on other videos if you've been watching. Over here to the west we have a rack that holds a bunch of axes waiting to be worked on, so those will be future projects. We have some storage shelves for different things that I use here, solvents and oils and smaller tools. That box there in the center is a toolbox that's up on the wall, and it is a pegboard, and you're able to open it up, and there are tools and things that I use in there. And then of course, as all of you have seen on the video, we've got the wall, and the wall is where we demonstrate or put the things up when we're done, the tools up when we're done, so that they can be displayed. From the tool wall, come to the rack. The rack has all kinds of stuff. There's some forms up there up top. That box to the upper right hand corner is my painter's box, and I can spray in there and kind of keep things contained. And then all the scrap wood and things that I can use. There's even wood all the way down on the underside, on the bottom there on the floor under the rack, which is I think a lot of walnut and some oak and possibly some hickory. Now coming from the storage rack with all the wood on it, there is the dust collector. I think it's called a Shop Fox is the brand, and that is attached to all the large tools over here. There is the chop saw, and especially the radial arm saw, which is hooked to that dust collector. Then we have here a Ryobi, which is the thickness planer, and that is attached to the larger dust collector as well. And then if you come over here in this corner, we have some more storage here on the wall. The other thing I wanted to mention about the dust collector, or the thickness planer, is that it's on a cart so that it can be moved around, and that way we can put it where we want to. We can even make room here if we need room for assembly, if we need some floor space. There is a sandblaster there that I've used on at least one project here. And then over here in this corner is where the vices are, along with some of the other tools that I use, which would be the sander, or the grinder, the wire wheel, and the grinder here on this grinding, or this bench grinder. In one of my latest videos, somebody was asking me about the lathe, and it is a Delta, and it has the extension built on it, so you can put a 36-inch piece in there. It's nothing super fancy. You have to adjust all of the speeds through the belts that are down here, and you can adjust the speeds right there. Other than that, when you flip on that switch, that's the speed you get. And finally, we have the table saw, which is the centerpiece of the whole shop. It's a Grizzly, and I really like this table saw. It really works well. The table saw is actually positioned very strategically here in the shop, not just because it needs to be in the middle, but the distance that it is from that garage door. Now, there'd be a lot of stuff I need to move, and a lot of these things are on carts, as I had mentioned before, but this is actually set up so that you can put a full-size pickup truck in here and still have a couple of feet of clearance. and that way we can put any vehicle we would want to. If we had to work on it, it would fit in this and create a bay. The thing is we'd have to push everything else, all the carts out of the way, and possibly even put some carts on the west end of the shop, but it would at least be doable if it were really dire necessity. So there's the shop in all its glory. I sure am grateful for it. Well, there you have it. That is the ToolScouter shop. This is not very well organized, I recognize that, and it's not as clean as some of the shops I see you guys put on your videos. It's definitely not like Norm Abrams, but it's my little piece of heaven, my little corner of the world, my man cave, and the place I come to play. And so I appreciate you coming by each time I put up a video and just enjoying the shop together. And I hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions about it, you can leave them in the comments and we can dialogue there. But like always, guys, I always appreciate you. And here's to you. Hope you guys have a great day. God bless.